We recently got some hands-on time with the Assassin's Creed Origins Discovery Tour mode, which allows you to go on a historical tour of the ancient Egypt built by the Origins team over at Ubisoft Montreal. But the real question is it fun? Well, yeah, actually. We definitely enjoyed ourselves on this history lesson with a twist. In fact, here are all the ways it manages to make ancient Egypt an accessible and interesting place.
Welcome to Major Exports of Cyrene.
Having painstakingly recreated ancient Egypt in the most historically accurate way, the team over at Ubisoft Montreal wanted to make the most of it, instead of simply having the usual notes in the Animus written by the sassiest of all assassins, Sean Hastings.
You'll forgive me if I don't have time to play meet and greet.
Sean's in charge of maintaining our knowledge archives. It's like a digital library. He'll be riding shotgun with me while you're in the Animus. So if you come across anything of note, people, places, events, etc., he'll create database entries you can consult for additional information.
Having enjoyed a sneak peek at their offices, we learnt that the original plan was to have 20 longer tours. But after working with historians to create them, they found them to be too long and dense, at over 5,000 words each. And who has time for that? Not us, we've got a load of Netflix to get through, you know. So the team broke those tours down into smaller, more bite-sized chunks. Now there are over 70 tours, ranging from shorter ones that take around 3 minutes to do, to longer ones that take over 15. That ability to really focus in on one subject in each tour, rather than to try and take everything all at once, means you can both get into each subject properly and not be there for hours, unable to remember much at the end of it. Except that Julius Caesar had a crazy regal cape. With 5 overarching themes, each tour takes a closer look at one subcategory, such as how pottery was made in the daily life of Egyptians.
Welcome to Evolution of Pottery in Ancient Egypt.
Each tour has several stops, teaching you a little bit more about the subject, making it nice and easy to consume. Nom 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 nom. Now these tours are not just walking tours, even though you do a lot of walking in them. A massive amount actually, especially in those sandals. Call that arch support. Unlike reading about stuff in a book or watching a documentary, Discovery Tour lets you interact with the world around you. Each tour not only comes up with sourced images and helpful illustrations at each stop, which the historical keen beans among us can look up if they want, but also with spots around the tours where you can reenact the history that made or inspired those images. Stand on one of these white circles and your character will automatically get involved. Learning about making pots? Why not wander up to a kiln and fire a pot or two? Learning about the major exports of Cyrene? Why not go up to the racks of Silphium and help them count their inventory? And look at us, browsing the Library of Alexandria like it's the most natural thing in the world. These little opportunities mean that you won't rush through every tour, instead stopping to take a little more in. They're also available just walking around the world, really making you feel like you're taking part in history rather than merely observing it.
The placement of the Giza monuments, and particularly that of the pyramids, followed a practical yet strict alignment.
You've heard about open-top bus tours, but what about an open-top horse tour? Oh no, wait, that sounds horrible. I mean, how would you like to take one of the many tours of Egypt whilst riding atop one of Egypt's many beasts of burden? See, should the tours have enough space, you can canter through them on a horse or camel. Now, not even our virtual feet need to get tired. Either call your mount the same way as in the main game, or nick one of the many available ones peppered around the world, and you're good to go. Onward, steed, to history!
The Giza area, now famous for its 3 pyramids, is part of a wider grouping of funerary complexes.
Have you ever wanted to dress up as a famous historical figure and wander around as them in their time? Well, finally, here's a step up from stomping around your bedroom wearing a bedsheet toga, ordering imaginary gladiators to be put to death. With over 20 different character models to choose from, you can choose to wander around as an everyday Egyptian or Greek person from that era. However, our favourite thing was to go all out and become one of the characters vying to be Pharaoh in the main game, and in real history, namely Ptolemy and Cleopatra. It's pretty cool parkouring about as arrogant boy King Ptolemy, annoying his subjects and looking through tombs. And we felt super sassy sauntering through town as Cleo.
These formidable ancient walls would resist a number of attacks, including fending off the king of Syria in 169 BCE.
Look out, history! Cleopatra is coming at ya. Sorry, I had to make that joke. But what if you don't want to be a historical character? What if you want to pretend to be a time-travelling explorer? Well, you'll have a couple of more modern options. You've got the choice between Origins character Layla Hassan and Desmond's dad, William Miles. Wandering around as them, you can pretend that you've just stepped out of a time capsule, imagining that everyone is too polite to ask about the incredible modern fabrics and way ahead hairstyles you're rocking. Not to mention, it's a nice touch for fans of the main games who rarely see modern characters in the Animus and will get a real kick out of playing as them. I for one loved exploring aqueducts as William, thinking back to when I played as Desmond, who was in turn running around as Ezio on aqueducts in Italy. Yes, the Animus stuff makes this all very confusing, but I just got a bit emotional, okay? Plus, Layla in all her explorer gear is perfect for looking at all the ancient pyramids with. So cool! One important thing Ubisoft Montreal say they wanted to achieve was for Discovery Tour to appeal to a younger audience, making it a useful tool for teachers trying to cram ancient Egyptian facts into the minds of their students. One way they've done this is to add children as playable character models. Now, for main story spoiler reasons, we can't show you the 4 main kids you can choose from, so instead we're illustrating this section with literal big kid Ptolemy. No, literally, he's a child. In the main game, we've already seen lots of little ones running around ancient Egypt, but in Discovery Tour you can play as one, meaning that kids can be actual kids in the game and be themselves in the world, having different interactions compared to adults. Plus, it's just really fun clambering around the world as a tiny kid. With the animations being a tiny bit more exaggerated due to their size, the kids look like even bigger pros than Bayek. I guess kids just spent more time working on their upper body strength in those days. Unlike a real-life history school trip, there aren't any repercussions from just wandering off from the tour. All of the tours are very flexible, and whilst each has a magical golden trail that you can follow to each information point, you don't necessarily have to stick to it. You can stop to take part in one of the interactions available en route as described before, or just wander around and see things not part of the main tour. A bit like when you're in a museum and have a quick peek in one of the rooms next door. In fact, you don't even need to stay in one spot to hear the lesson for each stop, because the game lets you move around as the voiceover continues. You're not punished for curiosity and can even wander off completely and return to complete tours at any time. This means that you're not locked in if you accidentally start the wrong tour or don't have enough time to complete one. Plus, you can just explore the world as is. With an ancient Egypt so lovingly and painstakingly recreated by the team at Ubisoft Montreal, it would be rude not to. And there are fewer things to worry about than in the main game, which brings us to our final point. One big thing the creators of Discovery Tour wanted was to make the world they created accessible. First off, there are no enemies for you to worry about. Combat has been removed completely in this mode, as guards and animals are no longer going to bother you while you try to enjoy history, unlike in the main game. This also means that the controls are much simpler, with aspiring historians only needing to worry about how to make their character walk around or ride on a mount, how to move the camera, and how to start tours. This drastically reduces the learning curve on controls, making it accessible to those who are less experienced than those of us who see it as almost second nature. So easier for kids new to games and for adults who might have never picked up a controller before. Plus, it's a free update for anyone who already owns the game. But if you don't already own Assassin's Creed Origins and you do just want the Discovery Tour, you can buy it on its own on Steam or Uplay. So those are just a few reasons why we wish Assassin's Creed Origins Discovery Tour was around when we were at school. Are you excited to try this new mode? What do you reckon you'll look at first? Are you a little kid looking forward to using it? Or a big kid like us? Let us know in the comments, and if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe for way more stuff like this in future. Thanks for watching, bye!